It's been a little while since I made a video, however, here we go. Also, the reason it's been so long is mainly due to just moving out, moving house, moving into a flat, which is where obviously I'm filming this video from today, so that's obviously why there's been no uploads recently. Anyway, a lot's happened in the world of MMA in the past few weeks, and I just want to get into this. The Sugar Show gets his title shot. Truly, this has been something that I've literally envisioned for the past 6 years. Like, I've been following Sean O'Malley since before he was in the UFC, so the fact he's now fighting for the world title next, and that's been confirmed, is just bonkers to me, and it will blow my mind constantly till the day I die. However, I'm going to try and be unbiased when it comes to this prediction and breakdown video, because I feel like there's a lot of people that will just side with their favourite fighter, and it does come across like I'm going to do that today. However, I can assure you I'm really trying to picture the fight and how it's going to play out, and I think a lot of this is going to be in Sean O'Malley's favour. I think the promotion are going to make sure of that, and I also feel like I think it's time for the UFC to have another superstar, and I feel like this could really be a big ask for Sean to actually take out Aljamain Sterling, who has kind of now shown that he's a dominant force at bantamweight, even though, you know, he's had 3 controversial title defenses. However, it's obviously you can't take away from the man. He's a champion. He's not the people's champion. However, he is a force to be reckoned with. So this is no easy task, no easy ask, but we're going to break it down today. We're going to get into it, and we're going to see if we can dissect this fight and dissect the result, and I'll make my official prediction towards the end of the video. I think Sean gets it done. Simple as. I think he gets it done. I think he's going to knock Aljamain Sterling out. I think it'll be a TKO finish against the cage. I can truly see that happening, kind of similar to how he finished Raulian Paiva. But I obviously think this is going to be a much tougher fight. But I do feel like a lot of the situation we're in right now is in O'Malley's favour, because they're targeting the fight for August. However, Aljamain has even said he will do it in July if the money talks. You know, he's just had a 5-round war with cejudo, a wrestling heavy camp, most likely coming into another training camp very quickly. If he has to fight O'Malley, especially in August, you'll be training within the next 2 weeks in camp, because I think it's 15 weeks till the fight night. So you take a week off, you kind of settle down a few weeks, and then you're back in camp. It's no easy task. Truly, it's no easy task for O'Malley. However, I think he will knock out Aljamain Sterling, mainly because, as I've just been saying, Aljo's probably going to come into the camp with a few nicks and nags. He's just had a 5-round fight. You're going to be sore after that. You're going to have a few bumps, a few injuries. But I feel like in Aljo's head, he sees O'Malley as a very Sandhagen-like build, Sandhagen-like fighter who necessarily doesn't have the wrestling credentials, doesn't have this, doesn't have that. So obviously Aljo's going to just assume, you know, I'm going to go out there and submit him, which obviously is Aljo's prediction. Aljo has come out and said he's going to fold O'Malley in a round like a deck chair, and that very well could happen. I'm not being unbiased. I think this is a massively dangerous fight for Sean O'Malley. I truly think that this he could very easily go out there and just get blown out the water. However, I'm trying to think of it from more of like how I can see the fight actually playing out and how the best case scenario for both guys is. And I'm going to say this. I think O'Malley comes out there very patient, just throwing that right hand, switching stances a lot of feints early, circling the cage. Aljo goes for a takedown. They're kind of in the cage position. O'Malley has underhooks, etc. like this. He's got his underhooks. He works to get back up. Towards the end of the round, he gets taken down. And then, you know, we'll say the first round to Aljo. I think O'Malley will land some good punches, but then, you know, maybe a bit of control against the cage for Aljo and just this type of thing. But then I think the second round is really where the tides will turn, and I think the fight will be done in the second round. I think O'Malley's going to come out there and he's going to be like, okay, you know what? As long as I've got my back to the cage, I can survive and I can do some damage on the feet, you know, pick up a few rounds. Close first round, I think. I think we're going to go out there in the second round. I think O'Malley's... This is what I think. Compared to Corey Sandhagen, Sean O'Malley sits on his punches so much more and actually much better. Like, he knows when to bounce back and plant his feet, then throw a right hand. And I think that's the big difference. Corey Sandhagen is phenomenal, and I truly think O'Malley's a very big bantamweight, but also he sits on his shots better than I think anybody in the top 5. Peter Yan kind of walks with his punches and sits to them when he's going to the body, into the head. Aljo doesn't really, he's not a power puncher, you know, he's more loosey-goosey, more like just kind of throws things out there to set up his takedowns. That's why I don't think, you know, that's why he's not a draw, you know, his personality's so unlikable, it's very tough to deal with sometimes. But obviously personalities don't win you fights, and that's what we're trying to get across today. I think O'Malley's going to go out there. I think he's going to be landing his leg kick. He's going to be landing his overhand right. He's also going to be getting in trouble though. Aljo's going to pressure forward, but I also feel like if Aljo pressures forward, O'Malley's going to throw that uppercut left hook. that he likes to do. You know, he likes doing that like uppercut, feint left hook. So I think he's going to feint that a few times and throw it and catch Aljo. And I feel like he's going to catch Aljo coming in with an uppercut. Aljo's going to stand back. He's going to do a quick feint, throw his right hand. It's going to catch Aljo maybe behind the ear or something. Aljo's going to retreat. O'Malley's going to step forward. He's going to try something flashy. When he go for it, he's going to try a spinning wheel kick to the head. He's going to try something like this. Then he's just going to pepper him against the cage the same way he did to Howley Paiva. And I truly think O'Malley knocks Aljamain Sterling out. And people don't agree with this. I put this on Twitter the other day. People do not agree with this, and rightly so. You wouldn't really agree with that. You wouldn't really expect anybody to be picking O'Malley, but obviously I've watched every one of his fights. I'm a massive fan. I'm also a massive fan of Aljo, and I think Aljo's a very good chance of winning, but I think it's time the guard changes. I think, you know, O'Malley's just one of those special individuals that is in luck with how quick the turnaround will be for Aljo. He's being favoured a wee bit by the organisation, by the company. You want someone like O'Malley as champion. You look at him and he's got these tattoos, the bright colours. You remember him, and Aljamain Sterling, I feel like, will then go up to featherweight, and then, you know, we'll see how that's not what this video is about. That is not what this video is about. I've got Sean O'Malley, second round knockout over Aljamain Sterling, but also let's talk about how Sterling can win. Inside trips, you know, O'Malley was caught by Jan multiple times, taken down, and O'Malley's had time over the past year to work on his grappling, work on his wrestling. By the time they fight, O'Malley will be out 10 months, 9 months. So he's had all that time. He's been grinding. I listen to his podcast every week, listen to all of this every week. I'm a bit of a fanboy, but I like seeing how fighters live. And I know Aljamain Sterling is a very smart individual, and I feel like he knows that this is his last, potentially one of his last bantamweight fights. He has said he would stick around longer, just seeing how, like, you know, things play out for the upper divisions, etc. But I feel like he knows, you know, he's probably going to get a good bit of money from fighting O'Malley, especially if it's a quick turnaround, and, you know, set him up a wee bit. And it's most likely an easier fight in a way in Aljo's mind than someone like Henry Cejudo has all these credentials. And I must say I am worried for O'Malley going into this fight, because I feel like O'Malley would have very actually handily knocked out Henry Cejudo. Cejudo has that high karate stance, and he's only little, and he stands with his chin up, and this is going to be a very tough fight for O'Malley. But I can just see O'Malley besting him when it comes to the striking, and then the grappling is obviously the big issue, but I feel like they're going to be heavily prepared and have a very good game plan from both sides of the table, and I just can see O'Malley getting the better of him. And I'm excited for it. I'm here for it, and I'm ready to see the sugar show in full effect. And I'm sure a lot of you are too. And obviously you can have your predictions. You can say Aljo's going to win. Very well could he. He's a phenomenal athlete, a phenomenal competitor, and you know, it's tough to say he can't go out there and just dismantle O'Malley, but then it's also ignore the popularity of O'Malley, ignore the brashness, the fake humbleness, ignore all this, and he is truly a high level combatant when it comes to MMA striking, and his feints are so good, and he sits on his shots better, and he sits on them fast, and he gets out of positions fast. The Petr Yan fight was such a high level MMA fight that he wasn't expecting to be taken down in, and whatever you say, if the takedowns weren't a factor in their fight, he would have handily beat Yan 2-1, 3-0. And people argue with that, but O'Malley rocked Yan, dropped him to one knee in the second round of their fight, that before Yan smacked O'Malley across the face and then took him down. And then obviously the judging in that fight, there was a lot of controversy, of course, around that fight, but when O'Malley cracked him in round 3 hard and Yan bounces forward for a takedown, the judges were obviously going to see that as he's trying to escape the striking as soon as he's hurt, which obviously is smart, but he's throwing sloppy takedowns now. It was a very close fight. Aljamain Sterling, split decision with Yan, dismantled TJ Dillashaw with one arm. Both of them former champions, however. And it's just beaten Henry Cejudo, former 2-division champion. So it's a big fight. I think Henry versus O'Malley would have been a bigger fight, but that can still happen, I think, maybe after this fight. So, we'll see what happens. I think it's the Sugar era. He's going to win, and I think he's going to win by second round TKO. After trying a few spinny things, after trying to get that flash championship KO, he's very good mentally when it comes to this type of thing. And I feel like Aljo's going to come into this massively confident. I think Aljamain Sterling's going to be more confident than he's ever been coming into this fight. And I hope he puts the pressure on O'Malley early. I hope we get to see what O'Malley's made of in 5 rounds. However, I think second round knockout for Sean O'Malley. The world will stop for that moment. And there we go. fantastic. But waited a long time for this, and now that it's here, I'm buzzing for it. So hopefully you've all enjoyed this little breakdown, this little video, this little talk. Feel free to comment everything you're thinking, and thank you very much, folks. Goodbye.